Come here. Today we want to move with a new chapter, which is current electricity. You know, substances are classified into two. One is conductors, which allow electricity to pass through it, and other is insulators, which do not allow electricity to pass through it. What is the main difference between conductors and insulators? Conductors have got so many free electrons. Free electrons doesn't mean they are free to move anywhere. Free electron means they are less bonded to their parent nucleus. They do have comparatively greater degree of freedom of motion than the inner electrons. They can vibrate up and down from their valence position. They can move to and fro from their valence position. That is what free electrons means. It doesn't mean like you can roam around anywhere. Doesn't mean like that. Free electron means from their valence position, they can, in the valence orbit, from their position, they can have a to and fro motion compared to the other inner electrons. That is what the free electrons actually means. Now, if you take a conductor, conductor have so many free electrons, and all those free electrons are under motion. And we call it as thermal agitated motion. Because of the temperature, they are under motion. To and fro motion is happening for each and every electrons happening inside. See, this electron is to and fro moving. So many electrons are. Millions and millions of electrons are. And they are under random motion also. But what actually happens is, if you take one electron, they move randomly here and there, here and there, here and there. And there is no net displacement for it. So there is no net motion for electron when the conductor is as such, in its natural as such. So we cannot say there is motion of charges. We cannot say there is current happening. So there are free electrons in a conductor, and the conductor's electrons are under random motion. These conducting electrons are under random motion in all directions, but the net displacement for the electron is zero. So we say there is no motion of the electron. Okay. But if you take the case, a conductor being connected to a cell will have a positive polarity plate and a negative polarity plate. So means there is a potential difference existing, right? So there is a potential difference. One side will be positive and the other side will be negative. There will be a potential difference. And because of that potential difference, you can see there is an electric field happening. That is from positive plate to the negative plate, which is happening inside this conductor. The electric field will be happening inside this conductor. Okay. Now you imagine a single electron. Okay, you just imagine an electron here, or somewhere here, whatever it be. An electron, which is a charged particle, will experience a force F equal to EE minus EE, right? What it means? QE, you remember the equation F is equal to QE, the force experienced on a charged particle in an electric field. Anyway, this electron will experience a force minus EE. What it means? The force will be opposite to the direction of the electric field. So this electron will have a natural tendency to move in a direction opposite to that. And I told you these electrons are not completely free to roam around. So from their mean position, it will start to move opposite to the direction of the electric field. And it is not happening with a single electron. It is happening with all the electrons together. It's just like this is a crowd of electrons. And one electron has a natural tendency to move this side. It's not happening with one electron. Okay, see, one electron have a natural tendency to move this side. At the same time, this electron has a natural tendency to move this side. So all the electrons here, will have a natural tendency to move this side. And they are not free. Actually, numerous electrons are there. There are lattice sites. So during their motion, they will collide. So what happens to this one electron? Okay, I will say it as a one electron. One electron now got an electric field and it's starting to move in one direction. And during the direction motion, it collides and stops. At that instant also, it is in the electric field. And from that stopped position, it will start to move like that. So what happens? Started moving, collides, started moving, collides, started moving, collides. All it happens all together. So the bulk of electrons started moving, collides, started moving, collides, and it happens throughout the conductor. So it starts from zero velocity and it starts to accelerate and acquires a velocity before it collides. So that kind of velocity will be different for different electrons. So there will be an electron which is colliding at a particular value, velocity. Another electron will be colliding with another different velocity. So you cannot specifically say what is the value of velocity for any electron. So we will take an aggregate of it, or we will take an average of it. Okay. So start moving, accelerates, collides, stops again, accelerates, collides, stops again. So we take the average of all those velocities and we call it as drift velocity. What is that? Drift velocity. It's very simple value. It's a very small value. It's of the order of 10 raised to minus 3 meter per second and all. 10 raised to minus millimeter per second range is the velocity of drift velocity. So if so the situation is not like one electron is moving. See, I'm sure that any student from their high school information will be thinking that when electrons are being conducted or when current is being conducted, the electrons are moving roam around. One electron moves, another electron move back to it. So that is not happening actually. That's a wrong concept in our mind. Even when I was a student, I was thinking like that. The situation is it's a clubbed motion. All them starts together, move together, but ends differently at different velocities. And we take the average of all those velocities and we call it as a drift velocity. So we can consider now each and every electron is moving with an average velocity of drift velocity. Okay, that's the concept of drift velocity, and its value is very simple, very small. Even if it is 10 raised to minus 3 meter per second, you know, when we switch on the bulb lights simultaneously, there is no time difference. If it is moving with 10 raised to minus 3 meter per second, like we may be thinking that if you take it as an individual motion, it will take a long time to glow the bulb. It's not happening. Why? Because it is not happening with a single individual. It is happening for the whole numerous electrons, billions and billions of electrons together. Just like you have a pipe, and inside it there are so many bolts. Just a simple rough example. It's not exactly correct, but a rough example. So many bolts are there, one after the other. If you give a small velocity at this side, what happens? The other bolts come out from the other side. So this bolt moved a very small distance, but the effect moved a very large distance. Why? Because there are so many bolts inside, and these are only numerous, like which we can count. But in the case of free electrons in a conductor, it is countless. It is that much number. So whatever be the small effect happening with an electron at one stage will be affected in a large way, in such a large manner that the effect will be simultaneously produced in the other side also. Because all these happens together for each and every electrons inside the conductor. This is what the concept of drift velocity. And for the next time onwards, when you start thinking about conductor, current, free electrons, some important things you should remember. One, free electrons are not completely freed. Second thing, it's not an individual motions of electrons happening. It's a collective motion of electrons happening. And drift velocity is not a single velocity. Drift velocity is an average of so many velocities connected together. Okay, that's the concept of drift velocity.